Okay, what the hell? Someone just posted this in Shader Toys Discord. 10 hours of procedurally generated progressive metal. A couple years I started writing my own game engine. I've had this idea of creating some form of program that would let me procedurally generate music. Tried and failed multiple times. This is closest I've come. I recorded every note on my guitar multiple times. Edited every single strum, the guitar in individual files. Man, is there a way to hide YouTube suggested videos so that I can read this description on stream? Yeah, there is. Okay. Recorded every note on my guitar multiple times. I did the same with different drum parts with multiple velocities and bass, although those samples I didn't record myself. Same multiple effects sounds, loaded all those individual programs, and then ran it through a reasonable complex process to produce something resembling music. Also wrote a random song name generator so that it picks a name for each song. That's what you hear. This is definitely not done by any means, but I figured it would be fun to share what I have right now. Program is set up to essentially run forever and just generate song after song until I tell it to stop. It's all implemented in my own game engine, so adding some visualization to it was fairly easy. Song generation for each section it needs to generate gathers a list of suitable section generators depending on the parameters. Picks up suitable section generators, lets it fill in the section provided. Doesn't end there. Every section generator can call back to the song generation system to ask for a complement section generator to generate something on top of the section. Rhythm section generator can ask for a lead to be placed on top of the rhythm. It can also ask for some FX or some ambient layers. And then the song generation system just keeps adding sections on top of each other. Every song takes around 100 milliseconds to generate. Things used: GZD, Modern and Massive, Zombase, Fractal Audio. Okay, let's see what this sounds like. This is interesting. Alright, so far this is just... Oh. It's pretty good. It's playing the same thing over and over again though. Damn. Man. It's pretty good for procedural generator. It's not amazing though. Also, I'm not hearing any guitar chords, I'm hearing single notes. I wonder if it has chords. Either way, I wish there was an easy way to like put in VSTs into programs. Like VSTs are great for like Windows or Linux, but they're not cross-platform. So hold on, I want to see, is there procedural procedural MIDI generator. This really reminds me of this thing I saw that generates MIDI files for you. Random song based off the seed you provided. Typing anything below. Definitely not as good. I feel like the key thing here is having good instrument synths. I feel like there is a really good tones.wolfram. So Wolfram has one of these generators. About Wolfram tones. New kind of science is major computational universe of simple programs. Music theory and render them as music. Each program effect defines a virtual world with its own story. What's the licensing? Please contact our business development group. Does it really not? Huh. Doesn't list licensing. Is there a way to make it more quiet? There's no volume button. This one actually isn't that good. That sounds chaotic. Yeah, this really isn't good. Oh, this is really cool. So the song is an automata of rules. Oh my god. This is a really cool idea. How do I... Okay, let's try this. It needs to have better controls. This is not a good way of placing notes. Not a good way at all. I'm also an idiot, and I don't know even or odd just from the note names. I need a keyboard to show me. I think these are odd and these are even. Actually, this isn't... How do I delete this? There we go. The controls for this are really bad, but this is such a solid idea of generating the notes from an automata. And this is really buggy, like this isn't programmed correctly, but still is a really good idea. If this was programmed better, this would be really good. I'm really curious though, there has to just be a MIDI generator. Procedural music generator export MIDI. Like, it should be pretty easy to generate at least basic music in MIDI. Alright, so there's one guy posting something from his Google Docs that actually looks like the best one so far. Oh, it's on itch.io now. Same as Minecraft, you just see it as a unique song. Set the tempo, you can also export a MIDI file. Wow, yeah, this is cool. This is what I'm talking about. So this does arguably the hardest part, I think. This is broken. Oh, that's broken. Huh. Alright, I'm gonna go back to watching Dust 514 keynote. I'm just looking, man, these are so many cool things. There's so much cool stuff on the internet. My god. This 10 hours of procedural progressive metal is really cool. I hope the guy eventually releases his source code. You can download the music he generated, but I'm really interested in how he generated the music. Like, the fact that this is procedural generated is crazy. Huh.
Introduce Sean Charles Gaudersjon, who is the executive producer of Dust 514. Okay, welcome to the Dust keynote. As I said yesterday, we have had a lot of new people join CCP in leadership position, and I now have the job of introducing each and every one of them. And today I'm here to introduce Sean Charles Gaudersjon.
All right,
we're
going to watch this. Also, okay, so I actually thought about implementing a game like this in Unity. So my biggest obstacle, I would say right now, is doing large-scale planetary type terrain. Unity's terrain is not good for procedural generation. I would actually think generating whenever I generate terrain in Unity, I use a mesh and a mesh collider, which works fine for tiny projects, but if you're trying to scale up to like a planet size, doing terrain with mesh collider will just be too slow. You get issues where like things go through the mesh. So I kind of feel like Unity has some serious issues for this. But I'm not completely certain. The other thing I'm thinking of is just how much of an issue stopping wall hacks and aimbot is. So I almost feel like just making a simple FPS and just trying to stop people from wall hacking and aimbotting is just like, that would be a pretty nice objective in itself.
In Africa, and now he lives in Shanghai. So not only is he an international man of mystery, he also brings a lot of really relevant experiences for the plan coming up ahead for mercenaries on the ground in the universe. And he has brought a part of his team to take us through something special he has here to announce. And I am super excited about seeing how you guys will all react to that. So I'm not going to make further ado, but call on stage Sean Charles.
Cool, very cool. Oh. Hello, everyone. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
okay,
the
cool.
thing,
so,
though. Occlusion culling would stop wall hacks for the most part, but it wouldn't stop aimbot. And like, as far as I'm aware, there's like no way to detect aimbot besides like machine learning and using a neural network to detect the difference. And even then, you can end up banning real players because the neural network isn't 100% accurate. And I feel like if you're making an RPG where people's stuff actually matters, then like having an aimbot just come in and destroy people just would not work in that environment. I just clicked the wrong thing.
People over there, if you see anything behind that thing, you shut the hell up. Okay, let's be very clear. So yeah, hello everyone. Hello everyone here at FanFest 2014, and also a big up to everyone that's looking at this over the live stream. So my name is Jean-Charles Gaudersjon. Don't even try to say it, which is why I quickly became JC. The cool thing at CCP though is that we have dev names, but even that seems to be a bit of a problem for me. So I'm CCP Rouge, and I'm here today to talk about Dust 514. We'll do a bit of a retrospective on that awesome year we just had, and as Hjalmar just said, we're also going to talk about what's next. So, already a year. Dust 514 launched in May 14, 2013, and what a year. The game has come a long, long way, bringing content at a crazy pace, always new features, monthly improvements, and I really, really want to take that time to thank the team and Sony with whom we had a really good relationship before launch and after. So please, big round of applause for the team and Sony, which were big parts of that.
So, like, I think this online networking on console literally wasn't possible on Xbox. Like, they needed Sony to build a custom, like, hook up to their Eve servers, which is something you normally can't do on PlayStation and Xbox networking. Like, I think that's actually a pretty big deal, the fact that they made... Like, okay, think about now how many games are trying to do cross-platform between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and they're going, oh, well, we can't do it because PlayStation or Xbox won't let us connect servers. Like, I don't know if you've heard about that from any modern games, but, like, this game apparently did that with EVE Online, like, years ago. So that's actually huge, I think, that Sony actually worked with them to do crossplay before it was even, like, popular or a thing. That's pretty huge. God damn it, I keep clicking the wrong thing.
Okay, let's be very clear. So yeah, hello everyone. Hello everyone here at FanFest 2014, and also a big up to everyone that's looking at this over the live stream. So my name is Jean-Charles Golechon. Don't even try to say it, which is why I quickly became JC. The cool thing is, I really want to take that time to thank the team and Sony, with whom we had a really good relationship before launch and after. So please, big round of applause for the team and Sony, which were big parts of that. We also had, thank you very much, we also had in-game events like Million Clone Challenge and many more, where I've seen the community come together like never before, and that was really cool to see. You're gonna hear that word a lot, community, today, because that's just, I think, what's the most important about anything we do. We'll have more of these events moving forward, because I just found them really cool. One of them I really liked was Calgary Prime. Why? Because I saw two communities coming together, EVE Online and Dust 514, to accomplish amazing stuff in these games. And to me, it just doesn't get better than that. I have actually a little story, a little anecdote to say about this. When we launched a year ago...
Andre, this is Dust 514 keynote, and this is where they talk about their new project, Legion, which is the Dust 514 replacement. CCP, who made Dust 514, are the creators of the super famous game EVE Online, and this is all connected to that.
Planetary Conquest is one of the big features, obviously. And we thought it would take roughly 2 to 3 days for a player to conquer all District of Moldenith, the little place in the middle there. It actually took 22 minutes and 14 seconds. We're good at...
What the hell? Did I just hear that right?
Forecasting correctly. And we thought it would take roughly 2 to 3 days for a player to conquer all District of Moldenith, the little place in the middle there. It actually took 22 minutes and 14 seconds.
Wow.
We're good at forecasting. And I'd like to share a few more stats after that, which is we've seen 300 million poor souls dying on this battlefield. That's actually only 3 countries, to give you an idea of scale, has more people than that. I'll let you figure out which ones. And that resulted in 7 trillion, close to 7 trillion, ISK being destroyed on this same battlefield. And because that's a tough one to swallow, we unfortunately had to see more than 5 million clone self-destruction. But don't worry, they're fine, they spawn back and they keep fighting. And these stats only got better with our latest update, Uprising 1.8. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We've brought you racial dropsuit parity, cloaking. We said that we'd push a lot on electronic warfare. That's one of them. Some of you may feel it's overpowered. We're working on this. Overall quality and balance has to remain extremely important for all of us. Every time we push something to you, quality and balance of gameplay has to stay in our head. And it's to make sure that you get the best quality out there. But to close this quick retrospective, we had a special gift for you all today, just for FanFest 2014, from one of our corporation CEOs and its sidekick, Pyrex and Trouble, who did a video showing you the game in from a whole new different angle, and you'll see that it doesn't always involve guns. Let's look at it together.
Right, if there's anything red, run at it. Low patrol on its way. Bye. 3, 2, 1. Q.
Cool. Big round of applause for Pyrex
So-
and Trouble. That was awesome.
Dust actually looks pretty good. Like,
And
even
actually,
for Unreal
since
Engine
it
3.
couldn't be
Was
there,
that Dust
for
or
the
was
general,
that
for most
Project
of the
Legion?
people that are watching us, I'd like to do a little trick. None of this would be possible without the single best community in gaming ever. You guys. There you go. Come on, say hi to everyone that's watching us. Cool, I guess I'm done now. So, there was that retrospective. As I said, as Helmar said, there's a few other things to talk about today. And I'd like to discuss about what's next. So let me give you a little bit of context. When I joined CCP several months ago, it was ultimately with the goal of carrying the banner forward, to deliver on the promise of a true sandbox, first-person experience in New Eden. Combined with the feedback of you all, the community, the team and I sat down and started brainstorming. It became my mission to fully realize that awesome vision, to build an ecosystem based on 4 simple pillars. Okay, they're not that simple if you have to code, but I don't have to. Number 1, a deep balanced competitive shooter, the core of our gameplay. Number 2, an experience built to allow emergent behaviors, allow players to go off script. That's where I see player versus environment moving forward play a much important role in that experience. And finally, sorry, not at all, before that, third one, a player-driven economy, player trading, the cement of that ecosystem. And finally, that's now, the universe we live in, New Eden. It is crucial for me to nail the immersion required to feel part of that insanely huge and exciting world. So when the team and I try to visualize that, try to put that into images, concepts, that's pretty much what we came up with. And we started asking ourselves some basic questions. What does it mean to be on the surface of a planet in this universe? Is it cold? Is it warm? Is the atmosphere breathable? Actually, who cares? We're dead. Would these elements have an impact on gameplay? That's actually an interesting one too. So strong are the 4 pillars I talked about before. This vision,
Seems like the devs really care about immersion.
started becoming its own thing. And a part of the team in Shanghai started working on this something, and we codenamed it Project Legion. This is a very early prototype, but we feel that it's the perfect time to share this with you all, get early feedback on it, and have you all help us shape that product together. Get your feedback, get more of them. Please shower me with feedback. That's what you do before. Keep doing it even more, please. But the only way to realize that vision, as I just laid out, is we feel to go on PC. It took me 4 hours in PowerPoint to do that transition. Just want to be clear. So I'm really happy you enjoyed it. The PC architecture is, I believe, the right step towards the next-gen evolution of that on-the-ground Eve first-person experience. So as I said, this is all very early stuff. But since we're not good at keeping secrets at CCP, I'm learning fast. Why don't we look at a live demo together? And I brought some people with me here. If we could now show the computers that are here to give you a live demo of what the team has been working on over the past few months. Please give them a round of applause. So, I've got CCP Praetorian with me here, and all the other guys, I'll introduce them later, who will give you or show you what the team has been doing over the past few months. As I said, it's early stuff. Don't get you a daunting place that is New Eden. Players would scan the universe to find new battles, new tournaments, and much more, but also scavenging grounds. These would be the first iteration of these sandbox areas mixing PvP and PvE, the emergent gameplay I mentioned as being my second pillar. We want to make these places as open to everyone as possible, to come and fight for loot. Yes, I said fat loot. And as you get deeper into space to find better loot, the line between friend or foe would become very blurry. So watch your back down there. As I usually tell the team, I said the day we'll have really your chance to be part of that amazing New Eden universe is when we offer these players to be able to betray each other.
I'm just skipping ahead from where we already saw this. Huh. The video's not loading. My internet isn't going down, is it? No.
Ah, yeah. So, Orbital Strike, the idea here again is we've used it. All right, cool. I think that's probably enough for today. But in terms of showing you a bit of all that, obviously, we'll keep you very, very close to what's going on in this development. I was really excited. I think it was time to show you, even after a little bit of the time, it's early dev and it's been a couple of months. But we're really proud right now of that, and just wanted to... Yeah, thanks for that. It's like talking too much. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. So time to self-destruct, and then we will. There you go. That's one more to the stat we've seen earlier, and that's pretty much. Please, big round of applause for these guys. And guys, please come with me. I've got CCP time run. Guest, I'll be there with CCP Praetorian, and we'd love to answer all of your questions.
All right.
Thank you so much. A lot more shooting in the.
So that was cool. I'm gonna watch This Is Eve Uncensored, Alright, let me see. This is Eve takes you into the game using in-game footage and voice comms of actual players, battle cries, calls to action, cheers of victory, panicked escapes, and virtual high fives.
Okay, what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna sit 10K off a target, we're gonna blap it really quick, and then we're gonna warp to the run spot. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Outstanding. Okay, stand by.
So hey guys, here's the deal. They got their prophecy fleet up, and then Razor also has an Oracle fleet. So we should have some interesting stuff about to happen.
So it's going to be like this. We're going to portal through, and at the same time, the triage carriers are going to jump. Just the triage carriers at first. Everyone clear?
Let me see. Oh crap! I think will we able to take on Guardians?
Yeah, they got 4 Guardians. I don't think we should do this.
We can do this.
Don't worry about that.
Now we're gonna fucking play some fun games.
My heart's racing.
And relax. All wings align. Primary is the Dominics in 5, 4, 3, 2. Decloak, decloak, decloak. Torpedoes on the Dominics. Dominics.
Orbit on me, micro warp drives on. We're moving.
Secondaries, Vipers, and the Omen.
He's in structure. Take him down.
Dude, that revelation out now.
All mutes on the ramp.
Run out towards that Guardian now.
All damps on the damnation. All damps on the damnation. Scepter, stay here and tackle prophecies. This is where we fight.
All right. So I'm carrying 100 times more than my ship is worth. There were some pirates chasing me. There's one guy chasing me through like 5 different systems. I need to get the fuck out of this system.
This little rock right here is worth about 166 million ISK. For some people, this might not be a big deal, but for me, it's huge.
Seller 4.2, pretty nice. Gonna produce 4 of them, 2 days, 19 hours, 11 minutes, 44 seconds. We can expect to make 8 to 10 million around there.
51 out of 56 grid? Okay, good. And we've got 5 modules to fit in here. The ship speed is actually pretty good. It can hit 4K a second. We're gonna hurt that now by adding on some armor buffer.
Up, success.
Dude, those look like Reapers from Mass Effect.
Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Yay! Salvaged so much fun.
Oh yeah, such fun. It's almost done now. Like, less than a week.
Oh, look.
Whoa.
Okay, good. Oh,
That is a
What was that big explosion that just killed everybody? What is that called?
That is a big gig right there.
Archivian silos down. Archivian silos down. Go. Silos down. Portal. Primary.
Gate is green. Sniper skills to long range utilize BSC.
This game is crazy.
Come on.
Oh shit! How do I warp to something?
E-War Jones. All E-War Jones on Scott.
Where are you decloaking?
Patch told me the secondary. Oh my god, that's a tiny.
let's go. Get those fucking bombs out. Red group fire. Gold group stand by. Come on, boys. Come on.
Man, Eve is absolutely crazy. Like, what the hell even is all this stuff? I don't play Eve, but the fact that the game has existed for this long and the community is so stable, CCP must be doing so many things right. Wow. I don't know if there's anything I want to watch on Eve. Eve Online full cinematic story movie. Wait.
Earth.
Cinematic movie including all cinematics and trailers. The Prophecy. Anyone want to see the story of Eve? I actually think I might watch this.
the origin of our ancestors. A century had passed since they discovered the Eve Gate. A wormhole. Passage to a remote corner of the universe. New Eden. It was the largest colonization effort in the history of man. The mass settlement of hundreds of strange new worlds. We thought nothing could stop us. After the Eve Gate collapsed, countless colonies perished. The scattered survivors forgot the old world. Fragments of mankind, light years apart, lost contact. Thousands of dark years passed until humanity rose again to be with the stars. In different corners of New Eden, great empires had evolved. 4 different faces of humanity. When they clashed, the wars were merciless. Out of the years of conflict, a new kind of human emerged. One capable of immortal life. To transform into this rare breed, we pay the ultimate price. At the moment of death, our mind is transferred to a fresh clone. We have become immortal. In the sky, we reach farther. On the ground, we strike harder. The empires are losing their grasp on power. And as our age begins to dawn, they will learn to fear us.
The birth of the Capsuleer. A sacred act. Immutable and profound. Mind and machine merged. Flesh fused with power beyond mortal limits. United with destiny. A ship and its heart. They are one. Uncharted void. A galaxy where power and wealth spur humankind. Where 4 great empires seed the fractured renaissance of man. Wielding vast fleets, they carve their ideologies into the stars. heroism and treachery of Capsuleers is woven into the fabric of New Eden. A story of industry, exploration, and conquest. However you choose to forge your destiny, do so with heart. New Eden is yours to shape. This is where your legend begins.
The vastness of space intrigues and terrifies us. Seemingly unconquerable and unending, the universe dares us to explore.
I don't know if this is much of a story movie.
While most
It's kind of just the
comfort
trailers, I
and
think.
security, an exceptional few defy their fears and accept the challenge. They venture into the dark, driven by a desire for knowledge, wealth, and power. Because unlike the others, they have the courage to face the hidden dangers of the unknown. They know that with great risk also comes great reward. Let us cast off our fear. This is the age of discovery. This is our Odyssey.
From the formless void, there springs an entity more primordial than the elements themselves. In its wake, they will follow a storm.
The prophecy is true. The heretics have constructed the gate.
It must be destroyed.
Commanders, it is the dawn of a new era. Today, we hold the key to new worlds, wealth, and our independence.
Ignition sequence initiated. Stand by for preliminary evacuation.
Once the gate is active, we'll change our world forever.
The fleet awaits your command, my lord.
Detecting an Imperial fleet moving in on your location.
We are not aborting the sequence. Prepare for battle.
Clear for load.
Bravo wing, clear for dust off.
Clear. Form up on me. Bravo squad, port flank, 5 wide.
Roger that, we're on it.
All wings in position. Blockade is ready.
its wake, they will follow a storm.
There is a strange, I don't know what you call it exactly, anomaly, a light anomaly, a star anomaly. And apparently the closer you get to Jove space, the better you can see it.
It has been nicknamed Caroline's Star.
Whatever happened there, it's massive.
What caused that whole thing to happen? Jovian stargates have gone offline.
The circadian sleepers have also been appearing.
All those things have been scanning everything that comes near them.
The unidentified structures that have been popping up and disappearing. They are listening to you.
Preparing to explore, preparing for war.
Is it possible that the sleepers have found a way to break away from the construct?
There's no telling what they might do out of self-defense.
Maybe the sleepers are the ones needing the body parts so that they can reconstruct bodies, because their actual bodies have withered away.
This is actually super cool how it's seriously like a story in the persistent changing world. This is really well done.
Keep them off me.
Capsuleers of New Eden. We are aware your scanners are detecting cosmic anomalies of an unknown nature.
Deploying sentry drones. That should keep them busy.
These anomalies originate from covert research facilities known as ghost sites. They are run by hostile factions and pose a significant threat to the entirety of New Eden.
Battleships on grid. Time's up. We gotta go.
Negative. Just hold them off. I'm almost through.
The Empires demand full compliance with the following directive. Capsuleer access to these illicit facilities is strictly forbidden.
Taking heavy fire.
Unauthorized interactions will be considered a violation.
Almost there.
Shields are down. There's so much damage.
And should you fail to comply,
I'm in. I've never seen anything like this. Wait, no. Abort! Abort!
there will.
It was an inside job. Yeah, this is actually insane though. I didn't realize Eve had a story. I didn't think that would really be possible with how like changing the world is, but I guess it makes sense. Hire some Hollywood producer to make it, I think. Look like a movie for sure. Oh yeah. It's really well done.
Wrapping up financial news, commodity prices fell on profit-taking for trading runs, but the manufacturing sector rallied on economic data showing a sharp increase in orders for Starship components. Meanwhile, an increase in mining yield for the period indicates...
We have a breaking story. This is live footage of the Rathalos border in Solitude, where Imperial Navy warships have just crossed... wait, correction. We have reports now that those ships belong to the Amarian Royal Air Urium Kador, not the Imperial... Whoa! They've opened fire.
I don't believe it.
Amarian Air Urium Kador has just launched a personal invasion of Federation space, which just months ago was invaded by... I'm sorry, we're getting more footage now.
Okay, heavy fighting is underway between forces in... Look!
Military experts are calling this a sinusoidal field.
Hundreds, maybe thousands of ships are coming through.
is a massive Federation counterattack. The Galicians are fighting back with everything they've got.
Look, a Federation Titan has just come through.
There's no escaping them now.
I think this is an actual in-game battle. This doesn't seem like a trailer. Is it gonna go to a trailer? Oh, I think it goes to a trailer here. Wait, is dragon in Russian dragon? Da, Commander.
But it is often a necessary evil. I began this journey intending to create, not to destroy. I looked to the stars and vowed that one day I would have a paradise to call my own.
To those that offered me their trust, I was a great benefactor. A master of wealth and prosperity.
build an empire, reach heights that were once unimaginable. But the spread of influence takes an iron will. Your interests might align with some, and with others, collide with the force of suns.
You are much more powerful than you think. Creation is so precious, and greed so destructive. Your choice will make a difference, because all these worlds are yours.
We all have dreams of greatness. At Upwell Consortium, we have made this dream a reality. The Citadel. Your city in the heavens. A testament to the ingenuity and spirit of humankind. Unlock your true potential and build the life we know you deserve. Together, we can and will make it.
Alright, we're coming in close range. Spread the grounds and away. We need to keep them from MJDing. Siege wing, hold position. Interdict us. Get some rebels in the middle. Bombs, bombs, bombs. Over it, Hartford. Over it, down the thing. Alright, carriers are putting fighters out. Frigates, short range and take them out. Dreadnoughts, you are siege green. Citadel, primary is E11 in the Apostle. Apostle is primary.
So who wants to play EVE Online now? That didn't really do anything for me of making me want to play the game. It looked really cool though. If they made a movie of that, I would totally watch it. I would totally watch it. Alright. Now the question is, shader programming or C programming? Man, I have too many things I want to do right now. I'm at one of those stages where like I have so many different programming things I want to do that I am really evaluating what I actually want to focus on, but I just end up keep doing shader programming because it's just like the easiest thing I can do. YouTube reaction. See, I don't even, it's just me watching it. I don't even react to it though. Alright. We're just gonna do some shader programming because it's easy. I am actually gonna think about this though right before I get into shader programming. What? So I want to try to mess around with some Unity game dev. But at the same time, see ya, Andre. I don't know why you stay up so late at night for this stream, but I hope you have fun. Have a good one. I also want to mess around with game dev in my own JavaScript engine really badly. But I think even more than that, I just want to get my C engine working well. But like, that's the thing, at the end of the day, if I just want to make a game, it really is best just to boot up Unity. Still 11 PM? Yesterday, yeah, it was crazy. Well, I definitely understand having a fucked up sleep schedule. Oh, did I just copy that instead of... Or did I just cut that instead of copying it? Hold on. Wait, what? Why can't it find this shader? Cannot find shader file. Oh, I renamed it Snowflakes. Found a cool new engine you made. Like it, not Godot. Okay, let's see it. I don't know why, but like, yeah, Godot was the first thing. Actually, so you know what happened? So my brain saw you say not Godot, but like, you know how your brain sometimes sees words but it doesn't read the full sentence? I saw you say found a new engine, and then I saw Godot Kappa, and my brain was like, oh yeah, he's telling me about Godot. Armory engine that integrates to Blender. Okay, let's see this. That sounds interesting. Is it Python scripting then? I don't know if I would be a fan of Python scripting. Anyone use Armory engine? Can't find a lot of info on it, but okay, let's see. Open source 3D engine provides full Blender integration, turning it into a complete game development tool. Wait, oh dude, Armor Paint is really good. So this is by the people from Armor Paint. Okay, wait, so if there's C integration, how do you code? Is not production ready yet. zlib license? PogChamp! Who is this made by? Is it made by a whole group of people? Is it just open source? It looks really smooth for being open source. Hold on, I don't want to download the SDK. I want to see what this is like. Enable Armory add-on. You don't see any user interface in Blender. Create in properties render. I want to see how the scripting and stuff is. Hello world. Pick up where you set up the tutorial. Open Blender. Save the project. Press Armory Player Run to play in the window. Chrome to play in standalone player, HTML5. Blender has a variety of modifiers. Wait. Can you use Cycles renderer in this? Scripting is hacks that export to native C code. Interesting. Very interesting. No shaders, very limited. That's what I'm thinking. Animation. Yeah, how does it render it though, is my question. Does it use any of the Blender's renderer like Eevee, or is it a whole own separate thing? Logic nodes. This seems super good for if you don't know how to really script. But there is way too much uncertainty for me actually using this to make games. Physics is bullet and single threaded. Armory 3D or Godot. Godot will have much better support, but the 3D performance is fairly shit. See, I've heard the performance is pretty good as long as you know what you're doing, which is the same for Unity. Undercycled nodes, so one has best node-based scripting. Yeah, Unreal does have the best node-based scripting. Godot 4 is going to have full Vulkan backend. Node scripting goes, Unreal has blueprints, has a lot of people swear by. Link my latest GLSL2 Godot project if you want. No, it's good. It's good for super simple programs where most of game is 3D art that you make in Blender. It's a new open source 3D game engine. Feels like it would be very good for procedural mechanics. I think this is the complete opposite. The fact that you build it in Blender to me makes me think this engine is great if you're just trying to like build a small game or something. Okay, this is really stupid. This is kind of a tangent, but what I want to look into, the last thing I was looking at doing Unity programming is the universal render pipeline. How to make a custom... There's no surface shaders in the universal render pipeline. So like the way you integrate lighting in the universal render pipeline is literally just by making a shader. There's no surface shaders. So what I want to figure out is how I make custom shaders with the universal render pipeline in Unity. Does it have anything about the universal render pipeline? You can multiply shapes from code in Armory super easily for procedural, multiply? Oh, duplicate, yeah. Pipeline custom shader. Writing custom shaders for the universal render pipeline. You know what? This is actually so good. The one thing I just have to say is Unity has just like really stepped up their documentation recently. Create a new material, create a new shader asset, start writing continuous section, URP basic unlit shader. Shader fills the mesh shape with a color predefined. Include universal render pipeline core. Does it not have... So this is what I'm looking for. None of these show how to integrate lighting into a custom shader. So actually this isn't complete documentation. Lighting. Custom lighting. Like if you wanted to do harsh cartoon lighting. See, all the things are on shader graph now. I am not a fan of shader graph. I guess maybe this is what I'm looking for. Please document it. What's normals rendering? Okay, I know what those are. URP sources aren't GitHub. Don't excuse the lack of docs. Back when I was working in a studio, I asked Enterprise for documentation on the shader side. Shader graph is currently limited. It's gotten to the point where I'd quite fancy just rolling my own lights. No, no, that is why you make your own engine. I'm guessing, actually, I can just do what I did back in the day, which is just look straight in the shader source code and copy their existing shaders. Writing shader code for the universal render pipeline. Full lit shader example. Oh yeah, so I guess you just straight up copy. You just straight up copy the Unity shader code. Oh, I don't know if that's that. It's not a good looking shader. Let's look at this with actual commenting. Okay, we got properties, include our buffer. This is really nice. This is a huge improvement. So, like, I'm just thinking about the shaders, the standard shaders that I read like a few years ago of Unity shaders. So this basically means that now they're actually toggling features of, like, if you don't have the normal map enabled, it actually won't run the normal map code in the shader, which is super optimal. It actually didn't used to do that. Their standard shader, and I think their high definition render pipeline is probably the same standard shader. It'll just run the normal map even if you don't have a normal map. So yeah, this is way more code, but I can definitely see why it's the universal, like, they've definitely tried to optimize this universal render pipeline absolutely as much as they can. Alright, so all of this stuff is standard. Yeah, the way that Unity does shaders is just incomprehensibly, like, this stuff just makes it so much more complicated than it has to be. Like, I definitely see why people do not touch shaders in Unity most of the time. I'm really stubborn, though. I'm really determined to do this, so. These give us... They've also changed the name of these structures, which is making me relearn a bunch of stuff that I already knew, just because they changed the names of variables and stuff, which... Yeah, I guess. Maybe it's a new person programming all this stuff. Get world space view direction. It's weird how this isn't highlighted. It's a bit better. I guess it's just the way they're writing this code. Alright, so vertex, outputs, position, UV, color, all that stuff. This initializes the... Where is this called? Oh, this is called in the fragment shader. Initialize surface data. Initialize input data. So this I actually don't like. They just read the data to a buffer only to use it later on. But this is actually really nice. Okay, this, wait, use pass, Shadowcaster. And this is needed to cast shadows. This is also needed to cast shadows. Metapass used when baking light maps. Metapass is only used for the light map baking, so surely I'd only use it in the editor. Anyway, if you want to write your own metapass, look at the shaders URP provides. Alright, this is actually really good. I figured out exactly what I need. This right here is basically the surface shader. I just write my custom code here, and I feed in or right here, or customize this surface data or input data function by, like, I don't know, warping around the world position or normal, or changing like the emission, all this stuff. That's really good. So this is what I need if I wanted to make a custom shader. Good. This whole universal, the new render pipelines in Unity kind of threw me for a loop, because it's like, oh, well, now I can't use the new version of Unity until I understand how the pipelines work. And so, like, the first thing I did, let me see if it's still up here. There's this chart I found that Unity gave on the difference between the render pipeline and the built-in pipeline, and it really sold me on the universal pipeline, because the universal pipeline does a whole bunch of the stuff I was trying to do in my own lighting system in Unity before. Does Unity shader pipeline put all your shader code in one big and use that one shader for everything? No. It so like that CG code is based off HLSL, and then depending on what system you compile to, that is cross-compiled to like 10 different types of shaders depending on what system you compile on. So the universal render pipeline has like all the base things you need: HDR, MSAA. Interesting thing, it doesn't have lens flares, which I am not sad about. I've always found lens flares are kind of dumb. It's got depth, everything. It doesn't have motion vectors or temporal anti-aliasing, but the whole thing is it's so fast that you have MSAA. And this is what really sold me, is Unity's standard render pipeline actually doesn't have correct lighting. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but I'm not even joking. If you look in the standard shader, it actually, I think it tells it here, the attenuation of the lighting is an inverse square. So if anyone who knows physics, the equation for how light attenuates over distance is an inverse square root. Oh, yeah, okay, right here. Look, so the attenuation of Unity's built-in pipeline, they just call it legacy. I don't know what it actually is, but the realistic way of attenuating lighting is inverse square root. So, like, from what I've looked at, the universal render pipeline is actually made to be pretty damn realistic and accurate. Like, I feel, like I said, I honestly feel like it's different people who wrote the shaders for the universal render pipeline. And I really like, from what I've seen, it is limited. You can only have one directional light. You can only have like 16, wait, where is it? You can only have like 16, I think it's 4 spotlights and 16 total lights, including point lights and stuff. It's way more limited, but it's designed to be optimized. Yeah, so spot and point lights, 1 directional light, 4 lights per object, 16 lights per camera. It's got basically everything you need of shadows. I'm not a fan of baked lighting, but I mean, it's got baked lighting. 4 lights per object is super limited. It is super limited, except for the fact that you also have blend probes. And I believe, so it says the real-time baking is in research, but I know for a fact the least you can do is a real-time reflection probe, which still gives pretty decent results. But yeah, it's less but more, if that makes sense. Like the universal render pipeline supports less, but from what I've seen, it does the stuff like lighting way better. Is there SDF ambient occlusion and SDF oxygen built into the base shaders? I have no idea. The only global illumination I believe they have in the universal renderer is their progressive voxel renderer. It does voxel global illumination. Armor engine has SDF ambient occlusion. That's part of why I thought the Armory engine was had cycles ray tracing, because like it actually looked pretty good lighting. Yeah, I'm really conflicted about Unity. I have a really stupid idea I want to try. I want to try to make a game, like just a first-person shooter, that is on the cloud. Like, it's rendered on a single client and then sent out to all the players, and then people won't be able to have any wall hacks or aimbot. I'm really curious to see how that would work. Cloud gaming. Well, so that's the thing. I think cloud gaming for like a bunch of stuff like single player games is stupid, but if it's an online game where you're already going to need to connect to the cloud anyways, and I think people would like, I think the one situation where people would be like, oh yeah, cloud gaming is like, I think if a cloud gaming thing can give you like stop all hacks because it's all on the server, like I think that would warrant the extra stuff of playing on the cloud to people. Wait for MMO made by some large corporation while players just see video streams. See, I don't think that would be done for an MMO, because like if you look at a bunch of things like RuneScape and stuff, old school RuneScape is completely unhackable because it's all tile based, and it's like a lock based or lockstep tick system. It's literally I don't know what the word is. It's like a fucking wall of unhackable bricks. But like, I think a first-person shooter or anything where there's really wall hack or aimbots, like extra information in the client that can give you I expect ultra-realistic cinematic game. I don't know about that, because if it was running in a server, they would need to have way more Like, they would basically be running more rendering and more players on a single client, or at least I would think the companies would try to save a bunch of money and run multiple clients on a single device, on a single like thing, and then getting VPSs that have GPUs are already so insanely expensive. Like, you need a dedicated machine. It's honestly cheaper to actually just buy your own machine and set it up somewhere with a GPU. It's kind of stupid, but that's the way it is. Yeah, I don't know. Clouds don't have such good hardware from what I've seen. Like, let me see what best dedicated GPU VPS. Yeah, $99 a month. AWS is $99 a month. Yeah, so with that, like, at least here I could get a decent PC. You wouldn't even need like a monitor or anything for hosting a server. Could get something that could run a decent game for like $600, and that would pay for the $99 a month VPS in half a year. VPS with GPUs. That's the crazy thing is you know what I don't even need? You might not even need a GPU. You might just want, like, I think you could get away with the CPU rendering on Linux if the game's low enough quality. Okay, let me try something else. Instead of a GPU service, no, a service that allows you to use 4,000 GPUs at the same time for like $10 per minute. Huh. Well, if I had to guess, it's not actually using 4,000 GPUs at the same time. Also, that's kind of a waste because the Blender renderer for GPUs is really inefficient. Like, most people use CPU rendering for cycles, at least in Blender. Or they use CPU and GPU, but like CPU gives way faster results than GPU, which is kind of interesting. I think it makes sense though, because so many fucking triangles, and the GPUs don't have the cache size to store that big BVH trees. So let me try this. What about, instead of a VPS that lets you have a GPU, what about a Linux VPS that has OpenGL support? This is actually something that basically no one has. Yeah, see, I'm not going for Vulkan yet because I'm just looking for something that has like the Intel or whatever CPU rendered graphics. I don't want to like have to deal with Vulkan drivers or anything that might not be ready yet. Linux VPS with virtual GL. With OpenGL rendering. On a Linux server that doesn't have a video card at all, how would I use OpenGL to create images and save them to disk? Do I need to consider on a headless server? Windowless OpenGL context. It gives any Linux or remote display utility the ability to run OpenGL applications. No, this isn't what I'm looking for. No, Amazon VP. You need a dedicated VPS that has the GPU, because you can crash the whole VPS if you use too much GPU time. So they only give GPUs on dedicated VPSs. It's part of the reason it's so expensive. Alright, let's try this. Running Unity game on Linux VPS. And not even doing it headless. What if we have rendering? VPS with rendering. So like this is, so okay, on Linux, when you do a VPS that it has no display, so you end up creating an X server that all it does is remote desktop to your SSH client. Is that how it works with Windows? Like, I actually can't think that Windows has a remote display feature. Like, I'm honestly thinking it is both so much easier and cheaper to do what I'm trying to do on a dedicated machine. I talked to a guy in the UK who was setting up game servers, and he actually, what they did is they rented out, you can actually rent space in a server or some, I can't remember, it's something center, it's like a network switch center where the nodes are, and you can basically rent space to have your own device in the center. CoreWeave sponsored this video.
But for now, I'm going to go ahead and render out my animation. Let's face it, rendering hair particles takes a lot of power. You can use Eevee, but it's not going to look as real. You can lower the particles, but it's not going to look as good. In my opinion, the best option is a render farm, but typically they're too expensive. That's why I was excited when Concierge Render contacted me from CoreWeave, and they gave me some credits to test out their service, and I have to say, it is absolutely amazing. All the frames are rendered simultaneously. You can run on 520 GPUs at the same time, and sometimes people look at the price and they think that it's expensive because it's $15 for 1 minute of rendering, but they're not considering that in 1 minute you're actually using 520 GPUs, so it's almost like you've been rendering for 8.5 hours. It eliminates creative constraints. As an artist, you now have affordable access so that you have creative freedom and you can kind of boost your creativity and explore the world of 3D much easier from a single machine. I was able to render...
Oh my god, it renders the frames as individual PNGs. Look at it, renders them as individual PNGs. I guess it's because if it did it as video, it would get compressed and you would lose data in encoding. So it's like for maximum quality, but it's still kind of funny, the thought of downloading thousands of individual frames as PNGs. Yeah, PNG is lossless, so it wouldn't lose any quality. I can see why it does that. With OpenGL window. Virtual GL. Okay, apparently virtual GL is what I wanted. Brief introduction. Normally, Unix OpenGL application sends all of its graphic rendering data both to an X Windows server, which may be located across the network from the application server. Virtual GL employs a technique called split rendering to redirect the 3D commands and data from the OpenGL application to a GPU in the application server. VGL accomplishes this by preloading dynamic shared object, the virtual GL faker, into OpenGL application. The virtual GL faker intercepts. Alright, let me see if this can be done without Linux Virtual GL without GPU. Alright, let me actually just search this up for a VPS I can think of. Vulter. Okay, there aren't many great matches. Linux Virtual Machine, Virtual GL. I don't even think this is going to be able to run Unity. Run Unity on Virtual GL. How to run Unity on Amazon Cloud or without a monitor. Off screen on your local Linux machine. Oh, it requires NVIDIA drivers installed. Yeah, so that's the hard part. Like, there's basically no expectation of rendering the game without an actual decent GPU. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Oh, this is a good question. I have an Ubuntu server with no graphics card. I want to use it to play a game. Don't believe what you're asking for is possible. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm not certain. I have a feeling. Run Unity game on Linux Virtual GL. Start the game, specifying a virtual display. And here's what happens when running it. Running a Unity 3D game inside Docker. Yeah, so I guess not. Everyone's getting seg faults, and that's fair enough. Can't remember. I think there's a way to host a server without a public IP. I just need to remember how. Yeah, there's no way of having people connect to the server without also knowing your IP address, do you? So oh my god, there's so much bad advice on the internet. A guy just saying if you use UDP, it has less behind it and you expose yourself less. UDP is so much more like open and dangerous. Holy shit. Oh my god, it's so expensive to buy a VPS that has a GPU. Like, so stupid expensive. Oh my god. Like, compared to actually just buying... Like, in the time it would... Like, in a few months of buying an online VPS with a GPU, you could buy your own GPU. Oh, here we go. Co-location data centers. This is what I was talking about. 53 co-location data centers. Save the trouble of contacting providers. Check out our quote service. Over 50 years, manage IT, cloud dedicated services. Fully redundant. This is what I'm talking about. Co-location hosting. So you own the hardware, but you rent space in a data center. Let me see how expensive it is here. Like, the guy I was talking to in the UK was getting space from a friend in a center, so he was getting a really good rate, but it could very well be just as expensive or more. Sell a wide range of customers. Typically the customer owns the IT equipment. And the facility provides power and cooling. Customers retain control over the design and usage of their equipment, but daily management of the data center and facility are overseen by multi-tenant. Co-location. Cabinet is a locking unit that holds a server rack. Servers with cabinets share raised floor space with other tenants. A cage is a dedicated server space within a raised floor data center. It is surrounded by mesh walls and entered through a locking door. Suite is a dedicated private server space within traditional raised floor data centers, fully enclosed by solid partitions and entered through a locking door. I love how much they've taken security into an account. Like, the key part of this is the fact that these ones are enclosed spaces. The difference between mesh walls and solid partitions, so people can't get inside. Data center modules are purpose-engineered modules and components to offer scalable data center capacity. They typically use standardized components, which make them easily added, integrated, or retrofitting into existing data centers and cheaper and easier to build. In a co-location environment, the data center module is a data center within a data center. Generators that start automatically when utility power fails. It's actually crazy. All right, let's look at quotes. How expensive is this going to be? I just need a rack cabinet. Let's just see what rack cabinets are. A specific area required. Oh, you need to... Never mind. This is sending in. Co-location hosting quote. Well, it's $50 a month. So that is actually it's nearly the same price to just buy a GPU, or it's twice as expensive to buy a GPU on AWS. Well, that answers the question. Man, that is ridiculous too, if you consider that, like, actually here, so the price for, I could just buy another internet line for cheaper than that. Okay. Prices of stuff have probably, honestly, that's the other thing as well. I'm reading stuff from like a year or two ago. It's probably gone up a lot because of COVID. At least if I had to guess. That's crazy. So, like $100 a month for a GPU VPS. How much? What? There's other costs on top of that. If you charged people $5 a month, that would be 20 people who would have to pay $5 a month to pay for one GPU VPS. So that cost is actually fucking insane. Like, actually insane. So with people paying $10 a month, you would need 10 people to pay for the $100 a month VPS. Wow. This is weird. This just froze. Is it gonna crash? It crashed. Did I just like leave it open for too long or what? Oh. Do I have this bug where when I load in a shader it crashes? Oh no. When did I build this? Am I using an old build? Like, wait, what? How do I switch how this looks? There we go. 0308. So this is an old build. And as soon as I unassign the shader, it crashes. I think I actually copied over... Wait, I should have a newer build actually with my website files. How did I end up copying an older build of this file over? So when was this built? So this has an even later... This has a build date before. I'm so confused. You ever just have a program that just runs properly, and then all of a sudden the program just doesn't run and it crashes? It's actually classic. Alright, now this one was... Yeah, so this is the later build. Okay, let's see if this crashes now. No, it still crashes. What? I'm totally gonna go in source code right now and figure out what is happening to my PC right now. It just opened gedit. Everything is bugging out right now. It just opened gedit in a new window. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna rebuild this. Like, is this a new bug or an old bug? Wait, what? What? Built to shader view / release / shader view.exe. The date didn't change. What? Wait, what? Oh my god, is it showing the wrong date? It's not showing date created, it's showing date modified. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, Windows. Windows. Why would it show date created instead of date modified? Gives me like basically the complete wrong answer for what the actual date of the file is then. Alright, let me see what is happening here when it's reloading and it crashes. Because this is like a serious bug. Like, I actually can't run this program anymore until I reset the file. Could not find shader file. So it adds up all the shader paths into this shader paths thing. And then we'll create new list of shaders and we loop through that and we load in the shaders from the shader path. If the shader fails to load, then this should just return 0 and do nothing to this bitwise operator. Update render buffers. Why is this crashing? I think it has to do with these render buffers here. But the question is, why doesn't it crash until I call the function to load a new shader? Maybe it's when it calls update render buffers here. Okay, let's we're gonna do good old-fashioned debug. We're just gonna put a whole bunch of printfs with different IDs and we're gonna see where it crashes. Alright, which one's it gonna be? Is it gonna be debug 0, debug 1, debug 2, debug 3, debug 4, debug 5? Or is it gonna not get to any of them and just crash before that? Oh, debug 3. Okay, so it's deleting right here. Debug by cout. I kind of like it too, because if you have a Stack Overflow somewhere in your code that is causing the crash, then it'll normally mess up the printf call and like output some gibberish or something, because it messes up the stack that printf relies on. So I think that's kind of cool that it'll like, wait, what? Why did it just give me, don't show this dialogue again? Yeah. Oh, I didn't want to, wait, what? Since when does wait. I'm so confused. This is just supposed to build, it's not supposed to run it. Did I forget the hotkeys for Visual Studio or something? Like, build is F5, I believe. Why did it run it afterwards? Is my whole computer breaking down? Alright, debug 3.3. Okay, so it's deleting the JSON right here. What if we just do a memory overflow and we don't delete the JSON? Yeah, why does it automatically start it up and start debugging? What the hell? The UI is so fucking bad in this. Where are key bindings? Where are the key bindings? Oh god, where do you... What? Oh my god. Alright, let's look this up. Visual Studio 2013 key bindings. Oh yeah, F5 is start your project in debug mode. F6 is build your project. But that doesn't work for me either, it's F7. I guess they just changed. So they just changed what they were. Alright, well, let's see if this works. Okay. So I see... Oh, I didn't do that properly. Okay, it worked. It's this delete JSON call. Oh my god, I know what's happening. I know what's happening. It's deleting this pointer. It's deleting this pointer, but this pointer doesn't exist. Or the JSON at that pointer doesn't exist. Okay, so I need to either mark it as null. Alloc new JSON object. So when it loads in the shader here, it adds them to the... It adds to the pass options. Where does it add to the pass options? Here. Okay, it sets it right here. 2021 cyberpunk that we deserve. Just funny. It's funny. Everyone steep on same problem every year. Oh yeah. That's the way it is with pointers. This isn't even a pointer problem though. I would get this in Java or like a null reference exception if I just reference this without setting it. I'm just thinking, how is it if JSON options smaller than equals I, then list set? And I guess I'm just creating an empty Alright, I should have some variable here that tells me whether or not a shader is loaded in, and I just need to check if that's true or false. So let's see, what happens if it fails to load in a shader? Does it just not list atom? Where does it add the shader? Shader li. Oh, it just doesn't. Okay. It doesn't set it to anything. So we just need to go to loaded shader here. And when it fails to load in a shader, oh wait, it does it properly right here. This is what I need to do when it could not find shader file. Oh my god, should I just do a label and go to? Okay, you know what? Let's just. What if we just copy and paste this section of code here? So it'll set the shader to null. It'll allocate pass options, so we actually don't even need to check if it's null, because it'll actually allocate the thing that we're trying to Wait, what? Oh, it successfully removed the shader. So let me reload these back in. So the shader that couldn't load. Okay, let's see if we get this same issue now. We fixed it! Yes! No crash. There is nothing more satisfying than fixing an error with pointers in C. And all I did was just copy and paste this section of code down here. I mean, I understand what it's doing, so that's what matters. Alright, let's delete all these debug. That was stupid, and I didn't really expect that to happen, but you never know when you're going to run into pointer errors. Hey Jay Naheen, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, this is the final test here. If it crashes here, I haven't fixed all of the errors. Stream title is cursed. I have probably cursed myself with the stream title. And I just set that to the wrong. It was supposed to be shader 1, not shader 0. I just need to type in any wrong path. And we need to see if this crashes now when I load in the right path. Oh, nice. Okay, it worked. Sweet. You ever go to program a shader and then you just find yourself editing C code trying to fix a null pointer for half an hour? It happens. That's actually not bad though. I was thinking I'm gonna go into this code sometime and I'm gonna redo the audio visualizer. Right now I'm doing it with like sine or cosine transform to calculate the frequencies for the audio visualizer. I figured out I can do it way better with wavelets that'll give a much nicer visualization result. I just can't be bothered to go and do it. Okay, so I should show. The other day on stream we made this Snowflake Shader. I ended up uploading it to Shader Toy so people can actually look at. Man. Now that I've clicked on Shader Toy, maybe we're gonna have to look through a bunch of these shaders on Shader Toy because they're really good. There's lots of really good shaders on Shader Toy. So this was the shader we made the other day on stream of snowflakes. I made it interactive on Shader Toy, so you can look around with the mouse, and the shader's actually pretty fast, pretty optimized because the scene's pretty empty. But it's really nice. You can go through and you can look at all these different snowflakes. And if you go and look, the snowflakes are changing and they're all a little bit different, or almost all of them are a little bit different. And then the one I didn't do on stream that I think is really good and nice for exploring is this Mandel sphere fractal. So you can explore this path traced fractal. I think it's pretty cool because it shows off, like, being able to explore around lets you see the lighting really well. Like, you can get to look at this nice global illumination here from the sun bouncing from there up to, like, up through here. It's really nice. But man, now that I've clicked on Shader Toy, okay, we're gonna look at what the recent shaders are. Especially because there's one by Shane. Ray marking shader for exploring 3D fractals. IFS. This is really similar to my Mandel sphere fractal I just showed. Let's see. Menger sponge. Oh yeah, that's the name of it. I think I named the fractal wrong. Whoa, this is doing way more computations than mine was. It's cool though. I wish you could explore around this. Small areas of symmetry. Alright, this shader by Shane should be really good. A rounded die moving randomly about the surface of other stacked dice. Had this scene sitting in my account for way too long, so I thought I'd put it up. I did it just for fun, really boredom at the time. I thought it'd be cool to see what standard infinite 2D hexagonal tiling filled with cubes would look like in 3D. Once I'd satisfied my curiosity, I'd figured I'd randomly move a cube about the resultant surface for a bit of visual interest and depth. All of that was simple enough, but texturing a moving animated die correctly proved to be a little bit tricky, so I got there in the end, but I might try to come up with a better system next time. Giving the performance a mildly okay rating. Get a improve. This doesn't have rounded stacked dice reflections. It's going to be much faster. Dave Hoskins was coding stacked cubes before it was cool. I did not open shader toy list in 2021. New shaders look cool. I don't know. Most, like, there's a bunch of days where I'm gonna be honest, I don't see much cool things on the front page, but I've seen some. Today a bunch of things caught my eye. These are really nice, minimal. Fibonacci sequence noise. Yeah, this is a kind of looks like gabber noise. Rip main image trick. Did that get broken? I haven't paid attention to minimization for a while. Oh, this is going to be really loud, isn't it? Yes! Oh, I love some people on Shader Toy. What a good shader. Merp, 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 merp. Merp. Why did this guy do it in buffer A? Divide view into multiple lines. What is he doing this in 2 buffers? Yeah, this could have been something that was done with procedural audio, but that is hard. Wow. This is, that is fucking crazy. I kind of feel like this could have been minimized a little bit. You probably could have done this in a bit less of, yeah, I think he took the same image, he rendered 2 images, one with it open and one with it not open, and then he tiled it. Ooh, trees like this are great. SDF for a tree. Is this looping through all of the branches? Yeah, this is looping through the branches. Ooh. Ooh, that is, that's it's kind of low FPS. Oh yeah, so I did a tree shader that I released the other day, or I did a long time ago, but I released the other day. It's called Binary Forest. It does an efficient tree SDF that has no for loops. Can you see the tree? I did this with ATAN coordinates, but like it looks like a tree if you do it straight up. See this tree function here? It splits the tree into vertical segments, and then those vertical segments are chopped into horizontal segments depending on how many are there. I'm really happy with how this works. I need to use this tree for like a 3D shader or something. Try to show what it looks like. I can't remember how to do the options. Oh, this kind of shows what it's like. I saw fractals that made literally with no loops in buffers. Huh. Fractals that generate itself. Oh yeah, like cellular automata. Here we go. This shows it. You can see it. It's not like an amazing tree, but it's a tree. You know what? I actually don't think it's correct distance, though. Oh, yeah. Shader Royale is a thing, isn't it? Shader Royale. Yeah, and the guy streamed it on Twitch. Let me look up. What's Shader Royale? They don't really post about this stuff in the Shader Toy Discord or anything. And there's nothing on Google about Shader Royale, so... Oh, wait. It's very interesting to me that all these people post their Shader Royale shaders, but none of them give a link to some actual Shader Royale page or anything. I guess it might just be a bunch of people just getting together. Not really any organized thing. Oh, this is someone else's shader. This is, I think this is a copy. I swear to God I've seen this shader before. I swear I've seen this from a different person. Oh, another snowflake. How does this work? Oh, it's using polar distance functions. Some of these don't look like snowflakes, but it's pretty good. Let's see what happens if you reduce for loops. Okay, I see what he's doing. He's repeating the polar distance functions. Nice. Those are good, except I don't think this is a correct distance function. Like, I can't ray trace this in 3D because it won't have correct distance. That is really good, though. Okay. Okay, I like it. Nice. Fractal Mountain. Wait, that's not a fractal mountain. He's just using a texture. Liar. Liar. It's nice though. You rating all shaders on Shader Toy as a YouTube series? Are you trying to get me to do React content? Is that where this is leading? Okay, this one looks kind of cool. I just want to see it. Oh, Shader Toy is loading slow now. I don't know about rating shaders on Shader Toy, but I would love to go through and just do like a collection of coolest shaders, because there's so many cool shaders, and I feel like people just don't know about them. Okay, Shader Toy isn't loading anymore, so I think I might go back to shader coding. Seems like Shader Toy doesn't want me to view. Oh yeah, it crashed. Okay. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'll be like 2-3 minutes, and then hopefully Shader Toy will have loaded by then. And I'm just gonna keep open my code just so that there's something up here. And also set this up so when I do the shader programming. Is it loaded? Oh, did it load? No. Oh, this one did. Okay, nice. So BVH with 16,000 particles in it. This one is insane to me. Sort the points into Z-order curve and then use a Bitonic sorting network to arrange them. And it saves the XY coordinates, and then you can really quickly look them up. Actually crazy. No, it isn't that complex, but yeah, so the limit I've seen is this where is it? Where it does this Z-order indexing, does quantized Z-order indexing using the integer coordinates, so this only limits it to like a 1000 by 1000 pixel area. I think like you could obviously do more if you used more than 20 bits, but it obviously gets way more difficult. So that was the limit I saw, is that this is confined to a very small amount of space with integer coordinates. Like your bounding boxes and stuff have to be quantized to integers. Generating using quantize them all. This is something the guy made himself, isn't it? What even is this? Oh. It's a really bad shader generator. Yeah, that is not good. It's also like the generator is unaware of what it's actually generating. Alright, let's look at this last shader and then I will go over to my own shader. Oh, the auroras here look so nice, but this is the original shader by Nimitz anyways. Summer 2020, I had a collection of links of cool share toy shares of 2019. It's summer 2020. When I started again, there was like 20% dead links, so I saved those cool shares and have them offline. Yeah, that's what I've done, is basically everything that I think is super important, I go and put it offline. Like all of these things here are just like important little techniques and things, I think. Like quaternions. Not just quaternions, I can't remember. There's something really important in that code there that's like quaternion to Euler or matrix maybe. Oh man, look at these auroras. Ooh, so this is volumetric. That's nice. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some food, and then we'll finally code this shader. Well, maybe not, because I don't know what I'm doing. I super hate all Aurora's implementation on Shader Toy. All of them volumetric and laggy as hell. Yeah, that is true. I think that's because that's what the Auroras are. They're volumetric, but I do think that they could be implemented very easily in kind of 2D effects and still be really fast. That Nimitz shader was kind of funny too, speaking of that, because he said he was trying to do the Aurora shader fast, but it was volumetric and it was actually still kind of slow on my machine. So I don't know if he achieved that goal. Oh, Unity Connect is shutting down. Unity Connect is going away on February 4th, 2021. Wow. Why would they shut down their... I guess they're replacing it with Unity Forums? That's kind of weird. Wait. I'm super confused. Guy came in before. Is it still in chat? Said something about glizzies, which could be short for Glock, or also used for hot dog / weenie. Don't make me pull out my glizzy. What? 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 When the fuck did people change from calling Glocks glizzies to calling hot dogs glizzies? I feel like if you try to understand the world, it's just a losing battle. No, the guy said it like 3 hours ago. It was actually on like my stream before. Okay. Well, I was really curious about what the meaning of glizzy was in that sentence. And now that I know, I don't really care. But I did care because I didn't know. So, you know what I really like about the Shader Toy version? I really liked being able to click and view around in the shader. I'm actually thinking of implementing that right here because I have a floating point frame buffer, so I can easily just make it so that you can explore around. Kind of make it easier to view, but add a bunch of work. No, I'm just gonna do this normally. All right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm now trying to take these snowflakes and I'm gonna randomly twist them and turn them around so they're not, right now it's snowflakes stacked in flat layers. See, that's what would actually be way easier to show. Right here is if I have a dynamic camera, I can go around and look at what I'm path tracing. Let me see, how would the code look for this? If dynamic camera. Should I? Yeah, I think I'm gonna set this up so that I can use the same dynamic cameras on Shader Toy. So this way I can basically just like how right here I can click and I can fly around the scene. I believe I should be able to do that right here as well. Let me just make absolutely sure. So I have the mouse X, mouse Y. What does the mouse Z and mouse W do in my program here? Because I might not have the ability here to actually detect when So in Shader Toy, the mouse Z and W are different. The W is what happens when it's pressed down, and the Z is what happens. I'm explaining this horribly. Let me just look at the code I'm looking for. So mouse button down, W equals 1. Mouse button up. So this tells you if it's mouse left. Yeah, I actually might not be able to. You know what? I think I'm gonna edit this source code so that the mouse is actually identical to how it works on Shader Toy. Because then it'll just be so easy. I can just have this code here. It's all I need to change in the shader. But yeah, let's see. So when mouse button down, we set both of these to 1. And then where does it load these in? So it actually sets that So it sets this after it's already set the uniform data. So I need to undo this each frame like this. Why buffers? I thought it's single shader demo. Buffer A is the camera. Buffer B is the path tracing. And images, of course, display. Man, my voice was going fine until I ate, and I think there's like food sitting in my throat or something. I actually might not be talking in like 30 minutes. What the hell? Alright. Now I just copy over this camera shader. Dynamic camera.glsl. And I gotta think about this, because this actually won't be rendered. I'm almost thinking of just doing the dynamic camera in this same shader, because actually that would make stuff so much easier. Then I don't need to load in another buffer. That's a really nice way of doing it. I think I did that in some previous shaders. So like the top 2 pixels that you can't even really see in the top of this will be used for storing camera position and rotation. So that way I actually don't need any new buffer. I can just put the dynamic camera code in here. Oh my god, never mind, this won't work. I don't know how I completely forgot about this. There's no keyboard input on my shader view here, so I can't do the left, right, forward movement. I don't know how I didn't catch that, but I just realized it. Alright, well, I tried. Let's just get to designing this then. So right now, the snowflakes are just in a layered grid, and what we want to do is we want to twist them around and make them look like they're in a volume or in blocks. So none of this offsetting. I don't really care if they're aligned to a grid or anything anymore. So this gives us our floored position, this gives us our snowflake attributes. All of these used. Maybe I'll use the same hash here for rotation. Let's just try adding a quick rotation here. This should probably break the distance function and make some artifacts, but it'll be a nice start. maybe just pitch will actually be good enough. Let's try. Define variable AZ. Oh yeah, this is where we're limiting. I'm going to limit the snow to a circle. Alright, maybe a bigger circle. Huh. It actually looks like it's working. So now the whole idea is making this way, way denser. Like for example, what if I made it way bigger and then I zoomed out the camera? It should start to look like actual snow particles. Yeah. 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 Oh my god. It actually looks like it's working. Now if we make it a bit darker... Or more opaque. Maybe do more steps. That's actually crazy. It actually... Holy shit, it actually kind of looks like snow, even though it's super big. I didn't think it would be this easy. So I'm thinking if I create like 2 more grids of this, it should look pretty good. And then I want to create an animation where it like zooms in, or it starts zoomed in on like a snowflake, and then it like zooms out and shows the whole thing of snow, or like a ball of snow or something. So I don't like the scaling of this currently. Let me see if I can make the snowflakes way smaller. Right now the base size is 0.6, and then they're separated by 2. Right, let's make them way smaller, because snowflakes are supposed to be small. This is inside the snow. All right, that's better. That's nice. Let's look at a real close-up. How much clipping is there? Oh yeah, this is fine. Oh my god. Wow. Dude. It's... You ever just make something really simple and it just looks way better than you expected it to? That actually looks like looking inside like a snow flurry. So now this should break. This should be clipping. Yeah, so now you can see way more clipping errors. But there should be like a perfect size. Maybe a bit less than that. What if I just scale the distance back by a tiny bit so it's more accurate? Would that make it better? No, okay, it still looks pretty much the same. So let's try making them way smaller. Super cool. So this is making the snowflakes really small. I think that's a nice size. And then what I think I need to do is I think repeating that would be really nice. But at the same time, I feel like that functions as snow. It functions as snow. Like, I actually think this is ready. This is good. Huh. Those bright glistening spots are because the snowflakes are so big. As I make it smaller relative to the camera, those will become less like flashy. Like if I make the snowball actually big. So that's actually crazy. It's refracting through. And let me try. It's refracting through the snow, which is causing all these sparklies. And then these lines right here are because I have them ordered in a grid. I think I could get rid of those lines either by making the snowflakes smaller or by doing multiple jittered grids. Yeah, so you can kind of see the grids have changed now, and it looks different as I made it less dense. And if I do full density here, alright, so light always makes it through because I actually have the path tracing always set to return the background, but I'm actually going to sample the geometry function right before this, and I'm going to disable. Basically, if the snow doesn't escape the sphere, it isn't lit by the background. Or maybe I'll clamp it to 1. So now as it goes farther from the background, it gets more lighting. Still think I can make this more correct. Oh, so that, I made it more transparent and it looks way more correct now. Dude, that actually looks like snow. Like, how is it this easy? How is this working right now? Alright, I'm gonna try doing the zooming in, and then I'll try these different effects and see which ones look better when we actually have an animation. Because I wanna start doing the actual rendering I want to do now. What is happening here? Do I just not have enough steps? Oh. I guess it's sampling the background. Oh yeah. If I bigger than equal to steps, then 1 or Wait, I just realized this always goes up to steps. That's not right. Yeah, there's no way to get it from crossing out the background and also not lighting it. I'll try adding that in afterwards and see if it makes it look better. This is probably moving out too fast. Yeah, I need to move slower at the beginning or you won't be able to see the individual snowflakes. You can definitely see them at the beginning there. Actually, you know what? Let me render this out as a quick animation. Times time. I want it to go to like -60, which would be actually 5 seconds should be, or even 3 seconds should be really good. I think I want it to slow down at the end though, like move out quickly and then slow down so that it doesn't have the motion blur right at the end. So like do times, but then do times 1 minus time times 0.2 so that it eventually, oh, or do a lerp. Combine that with a lerp. So what should our target be? -60? So then that should lerp to -60 over 5 seconds while at the same time it moves backwards. Okay, so let's capture 4 seconds, which should be enough to have it move back, hopefully. Yeah, that's looking really nice. Okay, so that might have done it. Ooh, yeah. Oh, man. So I think I probably want to make it denser. I'm not sure, we'll have to see, but that is really good. I'm really happy with this animation so far. I think I can fix these lines. I'm not certain though. Like, I think I could fix it just by making stuff smaller, but I think I'm already pretty happy with the scale of things right now. Like, I don't care that it has pretty big sparkles because the snowflakes are way bigger than they would be realistic. I think it's kind of okay because it looks pretty good. Or I don't think this is supposed to be completely realistic, but still shows it off pretty well. Let's try changing these values a little bit. That looks like it made the lines worse. You can see the snowflakes even when zoomed out in this. I think I should make it bigger, but So then I also saw that changing this opacity had a huge effect. Oh yeah, I also need to try doing the chromatic aberration. That'll make it way slower, but I think it'll make it look better. Oh, it started zooming in there. I ran it for too long. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna make the snowflakes more reflective just for the sake of this example. And let's see how it looks when we have the chromatic aberration. And we have red, green, blue refract at tiny different amounts. That makes it way more noisy. That'll take so long to render if I do the chromatic reflection. Oh no. The wrong thing. So yeah, it doesn't look bad when it's zoomed in, but as soon as it starts fuzzing, the chromatic reflection and refraction just turns the grayscale noise into red, green, blue noise, and it just makes it way worse when you're doing a low number of samples. Okay, maybe I'll do it. Let me try doing a rendering from zoomed out. So how does this end up looking with the chromatic refraction? Oh yeah, it ends up shifting to white. So I don't think this is going to have any effect on this where it's all white. But I think in shaders where you have like lots of different colored lights, the chromatic refraction will actually be noticeable because of the way snow changes the color of light. Yeah, chromatic, it doesn't add anything to this. So let me try and get this perfect. So I want to get it centered. When it's at this, I want to have it zoomed out enough that it's centered. So let's put this -60 to like 65. That should be okay. Maybe zoom in a little bit. And I think I might want to have it just sit for a second, zoomed in so that you can see the snowflakes. So let's do the math here. 4.5 times 5 is 25. Be at negative 75. I'm interested if this will actually zoom in or out. Let's try. Let's do another rendering. I'm gonna do it. Actually, I shouldn't need as many samples, just because it's going to be pausing at the key points that I want it to get a detailed image of. Oh, I made a big mistake. I have made a big mistake. It has now queued rendering of like 500 frames to my GPU. There we go, it stopped. So I'm not sure if I want it to pause at the end or just the beginning. It definitely didn't seem to pause here for long. That seems good enough though, at high enough frames. It's kind of slowing down enough that there won't really be motion blur. But what if we do -2? Will that be decent? Yeah, it didn't seem to pause at the beginning there. Time -2 times time. I guess it constantly moves because of this. Ah, I see what I have to do. I probably just need to straight up pause time at the beginning here. Like, what if I just do max 0 -1? So this way it literally won't start for a second. My cat's about to meow at me. Hello, cat. Oh, maybe not. Oh, here we go. Perfect. It sat for a second. Okay. Maybe I want to make this 10 seconds instead of 5 seconds, though. Maybe I'll make it like 8 seconds actually. So it'll pause for a second at the end. Okay, I think that's actually it. I'm pretty happy with this. Let me do a decent rendering here with like 100 samples. Let's get this looking. I think I can improve some stuff with the steps and things. Let's try and get it rendering a little bit better. Does a little zoom in at the end there. And it sits. It's, whoa, why is it sitting for so many frames at the end there? 120 frames at 20 frames per second. That's 6 seconds. Wait, no. Yeah, wait, that's 6 seconds, isn't it? Yeah, why is it now sitting? Why is it now sitting for the majority of the time? It wasn't my clamp right here, was it? I'll understand why this all of a sudden just changed. Frame delay is 100. We have the F samples at 100. Did I not have that? Maybe I didn't have that updated? Oh, yeah, I didn't have it updated. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I think this will be good. I'm gonna try maybe adding more steps and then having it cull the background, but this so far looks really good. Does it do the little zoom in at the end? Yeah, it does. I'm gonna try to fix that. It shouldn't be zooming in that little bit at the end. But yeah, that looks really good. Starts zooming into the center though. Ah, it's because I didn't clamp this. Now I think I'm just gonna have it set. There we go. So when I add this, what this does is so right now, whenever array, no matter where array is, even if array is inside the middle of the snow, it will take that ray direction and figure out what background is in that direction. But when it's inside the snow, realistically, it shouldn't really be getting any light. So what this does is this multiplies it by how far away it is from the snow. So if it's right up against the snow, it actually won't add any background now. And if it makes it like a unit away, it'll have full background. So the issue with this is you can actually see our ray trace isn't actually getting completely around the edge of the circle, at least not a single unit away, so it gives us this black outline. So I need to increase the steps, which will make it a lot slower. This is why I was holding off till doing this at the end, because this is something that I'm doing just for the high quality rendering I'm going to do. So now this should, one, give way more correct lighting, but it should just generally be all around higher quality. So you know what, let's do a rendering. Just gonna do another one at 20 frames a second. Oh wait, I just started. Hold on, I started the rendering halfway through. Oh wait, no I didn't. I have my code set so that I'm just setting time to a constant value. And I forgot to reload the shader again. Genius. Here we go. Also, yeah, everything lags. My camera and stream and stuff lag when this is rendering. Just the way it is, it makes it run way quicker, so I don't really care that my GPU is being completely used for like a few seconds. Oh, it does a little kind of zoom in there at the end. I'm going to try to get it so it doesn't do that little zoom in at the end. I think I should just be able to just multiply this by a tiny amount. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I'm missing. I think I've got it so far. The snowflakes themselves honestly look like snow. I'm kind of impressed how I didn't think I was going to be able to match a lot of the look just by making these little white reflective flakes, but frankly, it's worked. Oh, it still did the little zoom in. How do I test the zoom in? I can render out just like the last 2 seconds, I guess. Or a few seconds. Yeah, it still has this little zoom in at the end. Okay, let me do the math. Let me do the math. Wait, I can't do the math. Shit. Or I can do the math, but it would take me really long to do a tiny little thing. Let's just try multiplying this by 0.5. Let's see how it goes. Nice. It looks like it stops now. It doesn't keep zooming in. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a kind of nice rendering now, so that I can show on stream. Oh wait, it does. It does a little like tiny zoom in at the end. Whatever, that's fine. You know what? I can do the basic math here. At the end, this is going to be 5 times 5, 25. Negative 50 minus 25 is negative 75, which is way bigger than negative 63. Doing times 0.5 will get close to negative 63. We need like, I can actually do the exact math here of 63 minus 50.2. So we need to move exactly 12 units instead of 25. So if we do 25 divided by 12.99, or wait, actually 12.99 divided by 25, this gives us our scalar, or it should. Alright, so now it shouldn't move back at all. So I'm gonna do a nice rendering. I think 100 samples should be good. This will just take like a minute. A 100 samples at 20 frames per second actually isn't that great. The video I'm going to post on YouTube is going to be 60 frames per second, 4K. And the whole thing should be 7 seconds. I could make it a bit less, but here we go. I don't know why I'm organizing this anymore. I'm just gonna close it again. I keep opening this and then just closing it again after I've organized it. It's I need to remember there's no point in organizing it. That might zoom out a bit too fast. You can still keep track of the snowflakes. Oh man, actually thinking about if this is in 4K, you're definitely going to be able to keep track of all these individual snowflakes, so it'll be good. Alright, while this loads, I'm going to take this chance to go get some water. Be back. All right, I'm really happy with this, especially just for a little shader made today in like an hour. This is some very nice snow. The one last thing I'm thinking of doing is slowing down the zoom out, or maybe speeding it up so that you get more, maybe get more time looking at the snowflakes. So that it's less time zooming out and more time focused. Yeah. I'm also thinking, what would be a good screenshot of this? Like, if I want to make a wallpaper of this, what is a good angle? So I think I'm gonna find a quick just an angle that I can set the camera to that would be really nice for screenshots or a wallpaper, because that's another thing I'm gonna do, is render out like a wallpaper. This itself might be a not bad wallpaper if it's like if it's zoomed out the right amount. Like, I don't know, that might be a wallpaper at 4K, because that'll actually have a bit of detail. I feel like I could get a perspective though. What if I do like a really wide field of view? Like, what about a really wide field of view that's zoomed out a bit? So I believe I should be able to get both a zoomed in perspective and zoomed out perspective in a single shader, if I get the field of view high enough. Like, that might be good. I think that might be a good wallpaper. I also think if I tilt the camera upward a little bit, this kind of gives you the same perspective though. Yeah, that's weird. That's a super fisheye lens. Don't think that's a good angle. I feel like maybe just doing a zoomed in one of the snow again like this. That just might be good. I don't know. Let me try tinting the camera just a tiny bit upward. Actually, I'm not sure if this is tinting it downward or upward. That's tinting it down. That might not be a bad shot of it at an angle. Like that. I kind of like that. And then maybe if I zoomed that out. That might be good. It actually depends. I think I'm going to do the 4K rendering first, and then I will see how... The 4K rendering should really tell me how these inner details look at a higher resolution. These might actually not look that great. But either way, this kind of looks like a good wallpaper shot. I have actually a few ideas for a wallpaper now. Let me just make sure, did I get everything correct here? I can't remember if 0.7 was the original field of view I had. Oh god. Reload it. Is this gonna work? Yeah, there we go. I'm just rendering way too much and it's lagging. Okay, good. It does zoom out the same amount. Alright. There is our shader. I'm just going to play it again. Look at this. Man. I'm pretty happy with that for like just kind of hacking together snow out of a grid of snowflakes and then putting those in a sphere. It is not like, it's not nowhere near like perfect, but for just like thrown together snow, I think this is actually really good. Like, I'm probably going to use this as a base for all the shaders I do with snow now. If I want to render snow in my path tracing shaders, I'll copy in this, which is just, it's such a nice thing to have. All right, that's our daily shader programming stream. They're not really daily anymore, but it's good to get back into it. Particularly happy with that one of snow. I think that one's gonna look really good when it comes out rendered. We'll see though. We'll see. I just tried to load up Shader Toy. It is still not loading. That happens though. Once again, I'll post the rendering when I am finished with it. Speaking of that, here's the rendering from Snowflakes, the one we did on December 31st, and what we used as the base for this snow shader. There are some ray marking artifacts here, but it looks pretty good, like nearly perfect. You know what I love? When YouTube just like links to another video when I'm trying to play a video. But yeah, this is in full 4K. It also has links to a wallpaper image. So if you're interested in that, there's also going to be one of those for that snow shader we made today. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And I'll see you around. I'm on Discord or Shader Toy, or I have an email if you have any questions. Bye-bye.